Alright, hello and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft here. Gonna jump on the old Golden Hopper multiplayer server, and as promised last time, we're gonna be doing a bit of building. So I went ahead and completed this column, and it actually took it a decent amount more time. I took a decent, I guess, amount more. It took an amount more decently. It took a decently amount more time. It took more time than I was expecting to finish that off and finish that off there, because of the fact that it does jut out one block and then you add extra blocks and blah 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 and you're in the air and all that kind of stuff. So it does end up taking a little bit more time, but I really am liking that. I think that column looks really cool. So we've got here all the necessary items and equipment that we're going to be needing. We've got our dark oak wood, some dirt for scaffolding, some stone brick stairs, and that's going to be for, as you can see over here, the bottom of the column. We've got our regular old stone bricks, our smooth stone slabs, and of course our cobblestone walls. And basically the way I like to do it is, the way I like to build at least, is just to keep the existing structure that is already there, and then just come around and add on to it. Now this is going to be a problem, and I'm going to have to address that at some point. I'll probably address that off camera, because I don't think that's going to be something fun to necessarily watch. Maybe it will be, who knows. Maybe I will do it on camera. Even I don't know. It's a mystery to even me. So we'll just go ahead and do it to there. Well, that's not at all what I wanted. I'm going to do that to there, at least for now. And just going to go ahead and follow the pattern that we've got going. So basically the way that I've been doing this is I will dig up as high as I can go, and then we'll just sort of pillar our way up to the top. And that's the wrong block I'm realizing that I'm using. It should be our dark oak wood. That's what goes in the middle there, not the stone brick. Oh, off by 2. Not the stone brick. Like that is what goes on the sides. So I figured today, since it's a more buildy episode, I could do a little bit of talkie, because talkie and buildy goes together. Well, you're a very rude person, Mr. Zombie. That is just incredibly rude of you. I mean, a man comes up, he's just doing some building. You all need to quiet down, at least for me. Friendly guys need to quiet down. Let's bring the hostile guys up a little bit. Maybe we'll actually hear them next time. But that was very rude of you. I would say good sir, but I don't believe you're a good sir. I believe you're a bad sir. You're just not even a good sir. Those torches will come down anyway when I build that part of it, but... Well, that was exciting. Let's move on to here and sort of pillar our way back up. Try to rectify that horrible situation. I can hear him this time now that I got my sounds properly all adjusted. But I thought, because it is a buildy episode, it could also be a talkie episode, because talkie and buildy go together. Let's do it to about there, and see if we can get him dead. Die. Oh, you're burning. I'm not even hitting you. I was like, this should have killed him. This sword is better than not. Come on, you jerk. Fix your game. Game should be fixed. If I can clearly hit that block, why can I not hit this block? Why can I not hit that block? And I'm gonna go one up more, and he's gonna be like, hey, I can get you now. See, like I said, he's gonna be like, hey, I can get you now. I am so glad I've got this feather falling. So now I don't die every time I fall off that stupid thing. Zombies, man. They're just out there to ruin your day. But, for the third time, I guess now, talkie buildy good things. So recently I had a little bit of car trouble. And basically what happened was I was about 25 or 26 miles from where I live. And I'm at a stoplight along a fairly well-traveled highway. Single or double lane highway, so better than I suppose a multi-lane highway. That could have been a lot worse. Oh, experience, thank you. Didn't even take damage from that. That's just how good I am at this game. I really wish that on the hotbar tangent, as I'm one to do, going off on a tangent here. I wish you could have more slots on the hotbar. There's just not enough. So I need torches 1 minute, and then I need to eat the next minute, and I wish I had a shovel now, but I don't have a shovel on hand. So I'm going along on the highway, and I'm at a stoplight, and I'm getting ready to go, and the car sort of makes this very loud bang, pop noise. Oh, fell off. That's okay. So the car makes a very loud, strange, you know, pow, pop, bang, whatever you want to call it, type of a noise. And the car the engine no longer sounds like it should. It now sounds like it's like a two-stroke almost, or you can think of like a lawnmower chainsaw type of an engine. It's just, you know, pop, 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 pop. And I pull over, I get off the road, I get off to a safe place, because the car still has power. It's obviously down on power, but it still had a little bit of power to it. So the issue wasn't necessarily that it was completely dead. It was only potentially partially dead. So I go ahead. Oh, are we lagging a little? Yeah, we're lagging. Is it because I'm recording? How many frames am I getting? I'm getting decent frames. I always try to escape instead of hitting F3 again, and I've probably gone down way too far. That's okay. So pull off to the side of the road. I look under the hood, and I see that on the top of the engine where the camshafts are, the valve cover is, there is a sensor that has come loose, and it's a sort of a weird sensor. I thought maybe it was a temperature sensor, because when my engine started to just make that popping noise, the temperature gauge went down to 0. So I thought, oh, well, maybe it's just a temperature gauge, or the temperature gauge on the top, and it's that is the cause of my problem. It was oh, you get out of here. Go away. I need to place a block here, people. And by people, I mean cows. Cows, move. Pardon the pun, but move. Move. Pardon the pun again. Okay, there we go. Let's take a quick nap here now that it's nighttime. Grab that XP orb. Every little bit of XP helps. So I try to put it back in and try to start the motor again, thinking, well, maybe it was just that thing because it had a bit of seal. Oh, did I do that wrong? I sure did. I'm thinking I'm at the top. Well, that gives me an excuse to get back up, I suppose. So, push that back in, put this sort of seal thing that's on there back on, and try to restart the engine, and same thing happens. So I've got the engine working. It'll turn over, but nothing much past that will end up working or happening. So I go and call AAA because I'm far from home and I do not know what the issue with the car is, and it's obviously not just something I can fix on the roadside. So I call, and it takes them forever to even figure out where I am, because I'm like 20-something miles from home. I know the area. I've never been in that specific location before, but I've been, and I know the area somewhat, and I know some of the side street and cross streets and whatnot. So I give my best description of the location that I'm at. I was sort of behind a not strip mall, but a sort of shopping center. So I tell them that, and the other great part of this, the whole thing, is that my phone wasn't fully charged when I left because I wasn't expecting that my car was going to break down. So I've got one little battery bar on my phone, and I'm calling AAA, and it's taken this lady quite a bit of time to get my information, figure out where I am, and then send somebody out to figure out my not my location, to tow the car, because the car was not operable at that point. At least it wouldn't be safe to operate. I honestly probably could have made it home, but it would have been scary, and who knows, I probably would have done more damage to the car than if I had just done what I did, which was just call. Stop. Why am I lagging right now? I'm the only one on. I'm not uploading. I was uploading a video not too long ago, and it was the last video, and I was working on the top part of that project there, and I was just getting some terrible rubber banding going on, but I shouldn't be having that problem now because I'm not uploading. I'm just on here and recording. I haven't had an issue recording-wise before, but anyway, I am digressing. So the lady finally gets all my information and says that a tow truck guy will get to me in about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay. You know, she said they're busy. Okay, fine. I understand that. I suppose this is probably one of the first major weekends after the New Year's holiday. I think it was probably the first weekend after New Year's, and it was a Saturday, and I think a lot of people had a weird work week and just wanted to get away and get out and that sort of thing, possibly. I had been sick for 2 days beforehand and just wanted to get out of the house, and of course I make the terrible decision to do all that, but stop rubber banding. That is, seriously, it makes the game like almost unplayable, and I really shouldn't be. My ping was like under 20 milliseconds, so I'm really not sure what's going on rubber banding wise. What am I putting here? We are putting stone. So, cool thing, I use AAA. Cool thing is they will send you text message updates about where the driver is and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. But when your phone is dying and you think every little text message is going to be the end of the world, and I can reach that, yeah. Well, fine. You really don't want to be getting text messages when you think, hey, what if the driver needs to call? Because the driver had ended up calling me because it was a few minutes after the scheduled time. And he says, hey, I'm blah, 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 I'm helping this person out. I'll get to you hopefully soon. Obviously, he didn't use those words, but that's essentially what he meant by the call. So he was apparently just the sort of the on-call guy. He wasn't even supposed to be working necessarily unless they got overwhelmed with customers, which just my luck they did. So he finally gets to me 2 or 2.5 hours later after I had placed the original call. So it took them a pretty decent amount of time to finally end up getting to me. So fine, whatever. The other, I guess, sort of issue is that I again didn't live in that area. I'm like 20-ish miles from home. The first time in a long time I've really had car trouble, and I've only taken my car to one place, a Pep Boys, and they've always done my oil changes and alignments and that sort of thing. So I've never dang it, I've never really had to find a shop or anything like that. So I say, okay, well, take me to that place, still again thinking that it's just this weird let's go ahead and take care of this cow issue now, I guess. We may have to... Still getting used to the new mouse, by the way, so if you hear some thudding and clunking around, that's just me trying to get used to the mouse still. Oh, that's right. I hate how grass takes longer. Ooh, and I need to be smart about that. And not let them try to do what that guy did. Yeah, don't think I didn't see that. Of course, why'd I have dirt on the hotbar? We're gonna kill everybody but 2. And we'll just rebreed everything back up, because I don't have the energy for 1,000,000 cows, and to try to deal with 1,000,000 cows and their cow shenanigans. Also, been somewhat running low on food. I haven't been doing a lot of breeding or anything, so that'll help things out. Alright, how many guys do we have left? Do we have enough to actually be able to work around here? Okay, I think that'll be good enough. So let's go ahead and fill all of our holes back in. And so, guy finally gets to me. I still think it's that problem, so I have it towed about 20 miles back closer to home, because, again, I had only known that place, and they had always had good customer service and the like, so I didn't have any reason not to go to them. And so it's a young kid working there, and he's obviously really new and not necessarily experienced in the ways of automotive whatever. So, you know, asks me to try to explain the problem, and I attempt to, and then basically, that's fine, that'll work. Basically, he doesn't understand. We go look at the car. I tell him the problem, and he goes, well, interesting. Looks like you're going to need a new one of these, blah, blah, blah. Manager comes over. Long story short, they don't have a clue what the real issue is, and I also at that point thought, of all places that you can stand, you guys are you're gonna die is what's gonna happen. You're in the way. Are you gonna move? Are you gonna move? No, you're gonna come over. I will kill everybody but two if I have to. Okay, there, that one's not in the way, so you're gone. Okay, we're down to two because cows are dumb. Okay, we need to do one more, and of course, go. Can you not move animals anymore? Can you not nudge them anymore? So, long story short, I suppose, they don't have a clue what's going on there. Their diagnostic technician was not going to be in for another week, essentially. It was the weekend that this happened on, and their diagnostic technician was not going to be in for a week from that Monday, and it was a Saturday. So it was going to be over a week before, if I stayed there, before anybody was going to get a look at anything. And it was towards the evening, because it had taken the tow truck driver so long to just get to me in the first place, that my options were, well, you can leave it here. I asked for recommendations of a couple of other shops there, and they were good. They gave me a couple of locations, but they weren't open on the weekends. So basically, it was okay. Well, leave your car. I wasn't going to move it again. I wasn't going to bother calling AAA and say, "Hey, take me home," and then call them again and say, "Hey, take me somewhere else." So I talked to the manager, and he was gracious enough to. You better not come out. I will be very upset. He was gracious enough to let me, just leave my car there. I mean, I guess I say gracious with a grain of salt. Now, why didn't these... Oh, because I just ate one. I'm smart. I guess I say gracious with a grain of salt, because otherwise I would have stayed there and probably charged more in the grand scheme of things. So... manager lets me leave my vehicle there because basically I've got nowhere else to take it. So the next day, Sunday, rolls by. Don't bother about it. I did some other stuff, was just basically carless for that day. And then Monday morning rolls around, and by we I mean my parents, who could very well be watching. Hi parents, hello, how are you? We decided to that the best course of action would probably be taking it to a dealership, because I keep hitting two on accident, because we just don't know any mechanics in the area, any shops in the area, especially ones that are trustworthy. With a lot of these places around here are the types of people who just want to take your money, and that should have been wood. They just want to take your money, and they don't particularly care about your situation. So because of that, we decided, well, I guess we'll take it to a dealership, and it'll be certified forward work, and if anything happens, of course I can take it back, because again, we at that point had... Oh, I clicked off screen. At that point, we still didn't have a clue what was wrong with the car, because their diagnostic technician was out, and the manager at Pep Boys was, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could cost you up to $2,000 and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And turns out he didn't have a clue what he was talking about either. So Monday rolls around, and I call up AAA again. I swear I had the same lady, by the way, which is kind of funny. I swear I had the same woman. She sounded exactly the same and was having the same difficulties in finding my location, because it's a national call center, I would assume, and she had no idea of any of these places that I was talking about where I live. So I get that squared away, and I get a 30-minute estimate, which is fine, and tow truck driver actually showed up like 10 minutes early, which is great. So that was a nice surprise. And so I say, well, want to take it here. And his first thing was, well, he didn't say hell, but his intonation was such that he was definitely thinking in his head, well, why the hell did you bring that car here? Why would you bring it to a Pep Boys to get done? And, well, I would do that because that's where I've had all and any work done on my car, because I haven't had any troubles with it thus far. But basically, I said, well, want to tow it to this location, which is a dealership that was little bit out of the range of the free tow. The plan that I've got with AAA, I get 5 whole free miles of towing, and then they start charging $10 a mile after that. Yes, they are extremely gracious with 5 miles of free towing. So the guy goes, well, it's going to cost you, it's probably going to cost you $20 to get it there. It's probably going to be 7 or 8 miles. So I go, well, okay, I don't know what other choice I really have got. He goes, well, he gets it on the truck, and he goes, okay, well, turn it over, let me hear it. So I crank it over, and, he's not a diagnostic technician necessarily either, but he's got his experience with the cars, I would assume. So he listens to it, and he goes, well, you may have a gasket leak, exhaust gasket leak, because that's what it sounded like to him. And the problem that I ended up actually having can sort of mask itself as that if you are an untrained technician. So obviously this guy wasn't a trained technician, and so he was mistaken. But he goes, well, I know a place that will be within the free tow zone range, and I know the guy, he does good work, all that kind of stuff. And so I go, okay, yeah, call up my folks and say, well, this guy knows a place and says the guy does good work and is affordable and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up ultimately deciding to go there. And I'm thinking still at this point, based off of what Pep Boys had sort of scared me into, that this was going to be thousands of dollars, and that it was going to be many days before the car was even going to be fixed and ready to go. So I'm still thinking I'm going to be carless for at least a week now, or continue to be carless for a week. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we go. I get there, and I'm sure that the tow truck guy got a bit of a kickback. That wouldn't surprise me. And honestly, the way it ended up turning out, I would be perfectly fine if he did, because the mechanic seemed he was obviously very knowledgeable. The owner, I would assume, was a mechanic or was a technician at one point, and now he owns the shop, and so he still knows the mechanical aspects of the car repair, but so he can break things down for you, and he's got technicians that work for him that they seem like good people. They seem like they were doing really good work. So all things being considered, it ended up being okay. It wasn't the end of the world like I was sort of expecting based off of what the people at Pep Boys had told me. So I was expecting it to take a couple days, and who knows how long I'm not gonna have a vehicle for, and I'm not looking forward to that, especially because not especially because, but I did have and do have work that was coming up about a week afterwards, so I wouldn't have been able to start doing work stuff, and that would have been not so great. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So what ended up happening, or what ended up being the main issue, was the spark plugs had apparently sort of backed their way out, and I now know that Ford is fairly well known for making spark plugs that end up doing that. And the tow truck driver actually said that could be what it was, but he wasn't sure, and he thought maybe it would have been this other thing. And so I guess I'm jumping around a little bit, but basically I was very satisfied. I felt like I was I wasn't being taken advantage of. I felt very comfortable with the guy, very comfortable with the service, and he didn't seem like, hey, I'm going to try to get as much money as I can out of you. More, hey, I want to get this done quickly and efficiently for you so you can get back on the road, get back to life, basically. Because where we are, or where I am, you don't have a car. It's not just, hey, you can't get around very easily. It's public transportation is pretty much garbage unless you live in a big city, and you're not getting anywhere in a reasonable amount of time, I guess I should say. So he was very professional, very courteous, and he did a good job, and he would try to recycle parts if he could. He wouldn't just say, "Oh well, you need a new one of these, you need a new one of those," just for the sake of putting that part in and being able to charge for it. You know, he would try to reuse parts if obviously if it was safe and applicable. And there were a couple of dang it, I tried to jump over so that wouldn't happen. There was a case where on my vehicle where that did end up happening, where there was a need for a couple replacement parts, but then recycling of a couple parts as well. So all in all, I was ended up being very satisfied, and it wasn't as huge of a... I knew it was going to happen. The second I pressed space, I knew I shouldn't have. And what did I do? I just went ahead and hit space anyway. Okay. Let's go up 5. And with that rubber banding, it's hard to tell how much up 5 actually is. So, I suppose to make a long story relatively short, everything ended up working out. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Everything ended up working out just fine. Things were not as bad as they had originally been told, or the original diagnosis was nowhere near correct. So as you can see, it's been about half an hour, and that's how long it pretty much took to build this one part of the tower, and to build the rest of it will probably it'll probably even taken, words are just so difficult sometimes. It'll probably take roughly the same amount of time, if not longer, because now, instead of just being on the ground and being able to pillar and build things up, that annoys me, but I can't do anything about that. I'm not able to just build from the ground up. I'm already up, so I got to build from the up. So that means a lot of dirt scaffolding around things, and so that's why things end up taking a lot longer. Interesting. Does that denote that is a trapped chest? That right there? That's cool. I like that. Sphax Texture Pack. Doing the good things once again. But I will probably, again, off camera, end up finishing off probably the rest of them. Depends on a couple of few things. I've got a 3-day weekend from work, and then the following week I am starting school, and that is always a fun time because I am always unsure of my schedule because of the school that I go to and the major that I have. There's no guarantee that I will get the classes that I need, although so far I am registered and guaranteed for 3 classes. I want at least one more, preferably 2, but that's a whole nother shebang right there, I suppose. I also may, depending on the scheduling of things for myself and my teacher partner, I may be teaching the kindergartners again, so YouTubes may go back on hold there as more of the fun hobby thing that it is. So anyway, without further ado, until next time, I'll see you next time.